Welcome everybody to this will be the third episode of Bangers, Bops, and Banter. Yeah,
You're
that's
really
what we're
bad at
calling the
this
show.
intro.
You're listening
Nice.
to 91.5 WUML, by the way. So this is a new show, Bangers, Bops, and Banter. Like just starting, like now. I'm your host, Brendan, and as you can tell, I'm very good at my job.
I think I should be the one to introduce these podcasts from now on.
No, because you see how good of a job I just did at introducing.
Okay, well, hello everyone. We're here. I'm one of your hosts, Joe. Brendan is my co-host.
Yeah,
Hi.
something like that.
We have a guest here today, Jason.
Hello.
You want to introduce yourself? Tell us some fun facts, maybe
Fun
your favorite album.
facts.
Some cool fun facts.
Oh man, you're kind of putting me on the spot here. I might have to pull up Spotify.
Good.
I'm Jason. Middle name Anthony. Go to Salem State University. Favorite album? It depends, I guess. I don't know. I like Blonde. That's a good album.
That's a really good album.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good choice.
What else do you want me to say?
What's your least favorite album?
My least favorite album?
Yes.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh fuck.
Okay, that's cheating.
Damn.
Alright. What's the most run-of-the-mill album you've ever heard?
The most run of...
Yeah, the most average album. The most 5 of 5s.
Yo.
I don't know. Brendan, you just put
You're
out
supposed to have
right?
this prepared. Okay.
Yo, can I just answer this question because it's absolutely Wanna by Gunna. All right.
Oh yeah.
Listen. I think Wanna is actually slightly bad.
You son of a bitch! How the fuck dare you?
It's kind of really boring. It's not just like run of the mill. It's like it's not violently boring.
It's not that boring. It's like it was like okay when it was on.
You know, you're right. I didn't want to actively turn it off like his other albums, but it wasn't. Wanna is an interesting experience because it's nothing. It's like eating white bread, but less interesting.
Damn.
I don't know, man.
What do you think? You're better than white bread, Brendan?
Yes.
Look at you.
And I'm slightly tanned bread. Okay.
You're lightly toasted.
Yes. A little bit of burnt around the edges, you know.
Oh man. All right. Well, we got some stuff to talk about in the show. We're gonna first talk about a news story. A pretty big news story. Typically, we only talk about music and movie news, or at least that's what we've done for the past 2 episodes. But
this
we're going
one's
to be talking
kind of important and also a hard transition from.
It is a
our
very
usual
hard
banter.
transition. We're gonna be talking about the George Floyd situation, everything that's happened with that. Afterwards, we're gonna be reviewing the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, or I guess just having a discussion about it.
Which is also a very hard transition from the George Floyd's.
It's it's gonna get heavy and then it's gonna get very not heavy at all. Afterwards, we're gonna be discussing some fun Marvel movies.
Yeah. Go Marvel.
Oh boy. We're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2 through Black Panther, I believe.
And
I don't know. Next week we'll talk about it's 4. And then next week we'll talk about the rest of the MCU, I guess.
Maybe we might not get to Endgame, but we will see.
Well, I mean, and there's only one movie in between Infinity War and Endgame.
No, there's 2. Ant-Man the Wasp and Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel's at. Oh wait, is it? Oh fuck, it is.
Yeah, you need both.
Damn it. All right. So.
Are we just gonna jump into it?
Are we just gonna jump into it?
It's not really something you just jump into. I don't know. I mean, like if you are in America and you have been alive in the past week, you understand like at least some of what's going on.
Yeah. Do we just want to start at the beginning? I don't know. It seems a little bit pointless, but I feel like it's like good to start out with what happened.
Definitely. I mean, maybe somebody will watching this in 10 years and they have no idea what we're talking about, so probably good to start.
You have a very optimistic view.
Yeah, somebody is going to be searching through YouTube, and they definitely haven't deleted our content by then. It's going to be like, wow, what's this podcast channel with no views? I'm very intrigued because of
and they're
beautiful
gonna listen.
art.
They're gonna get through both episode 1 and episode 2. And then
no, they actually just start on episode 3 because they're a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan.
Hey, you never know. All right, let's start at the beginning. I don't remember the date.
It was Monday last week.
It was May 25th.
It was so on May 25th. There was originally a police report that said, basically a suspect had died from health complications while being arrested, and then very quickly afterwards, video came out of a police officer, laying his knee on, like just resting his knee on, George Floyd's neck for like 9 minutes straight. And about 4 of those minutes are after he's unconscious. It's not a good look.
And the entire time there are civilians there just telling him to lay off.
Get up. Yes.
He doesn't.
There are 3 other police officers involved. Actually, we're just gonna name the police officers because
I don't know
fuck
the
them.
names, so yeah.
We'll
pull it up. Jason, do you know? Did you do your research, Jason?
I don't have all 4 names at the present. I can grab them really quickly, though.
Yeah, it's because we have the internet. It's pretty crazy.
So the main officer, the main officer who murdered George Floyd is Derek Chauvin. Is his last name? I don't really care if I pronounce it correctly or not.
I think it's Chauvin.
Chauvin.
Yeah.
Derek Chauvin. Yeah.
And the other 3 are they're not mentioned in this article.
I see Officer Tao, J. Alexander Queng, and Thomas K. Lane participating in Floyd's arrest. It looks like Queng held Floyd's back, Lane held his legs, and Tao looked on and forcibly preventing intervention by onlookers. He's seen in the amateur videos from the bystanders as standing off to the side.
Yes.
So the situation here is that we have 3 police officers holding down an individual for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and not responding to his calls for water and just the simple ability to breathe. A complete disregard for the individual.
only 2 of those complaints were quote unquote closed with discipline, which is pretty impressive that a police officer can have 18 complaints against them and then like still be allowed to basically like just like I guess make like very what's the word, very life or death decisions basically.
Yeah, that is just like terrible police accountability there. Like,
or
I
even
can't
like
imagine trusting this guy with 18 or 16 complaints? 18 complaints against him. 18 people have found that he is not fit for his job, and I'm trusting him to protect and serve me. Is really not in a position that I want to be in.
The one of the other police officers, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the one who was looking on in the video, he had 6 complaints filed against him previously.
Oh man, that's not even that bad in comparison, you know.
So this led to I believe all police officers involved were fired at first, and no charges whatsoever were brought against any of them.
I thought at first they were put on administrative leave, which is essentially just like paid leave, and I think later they were all fired, and now Mr. Chauvin, I know, has been arrested, but he hasn't been charged with anything.
He has been charged.
He has been now. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't get that date.
Basically, they're just fired, or they were put on. I guess were they put on administrative leave? I don't know.
I read that in a news story. I don't.
Okay.
Not 100% certain, but it sounds right. I'm sure they were like after. Yeah, during the after effects, they certainly ramped up their punishment, though.
Yes. And then he was only arrested over the weekend. I don't remember specifically when it was. It was either Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, it does look like they were first placed on leave, and in the same day they were all fired.
Oh, okay.
And then 3 days later, Chauvin was arrested and charged.
Okay.
Isn't there something to be said there, though, that it takes days of public outcry just to have some kind of results? Like, there is no real accountability there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's forced accountability. It's not genuine.
Yeah.
And they'll do everything to protect Chauvin still, but this is just for the public.
Like, if there wasn't a public outcry, like nothing would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell by their initial actions of just firing them.
Yeah.
They don't see what they did as criminal activity.
Yeah, definitely.
They see it as unprofessional, but not criminal. Not until 3 days later.
And even then, I don't think they really see it as criminal. Like,
exactly.
They're just like, oh, well, I guess the public sees it as criminal, so.
Yeah.
And this has been the case in many, many other situations similar to this.
No, yeah, George Floyd is definitely a repetition of history, but
exactly, yeah,
it's very unfortunate.
There was one thing I wanted to note. Some news that dropped today. I saw a news article. I'm sure you guys heard that Michael Baden, he's a pathologist from New York City. He's pretty famous, was going to do a private autopsy on Floyd. What he found actually contradicts what the original medical examiner found.
Yes. The original medical examiner was found that it was just like a medical issue or something, whatever.
Yeah, basically he had coronary artery disease that was exacerbated by the stress of the situation.
Yeah.
And many people saw that as a deflection, basically to say that we didn't cause the death. any healthy individual would have survived this, were fine, but Michael Baden actually found that through the officer kneeling on his neck and back, it was a death caused by asphyxiation and decreased blood flow to the brain.
That's crazy. I never saw that coming, really, considering he's crying out that he says he can't breathe.
Right? Isn't it sad that we needed 2 autopsies to find that out?
So that's sort of what started it all. I think what is now a good thing to talk about is the public outcry that was the results of the actions in Minneapolis. And it started in Minneapolis with the protests and riots. They're riots at this point.
Yes. Well, they started out as, or it like immediately started out as protests, and then eventually it kind of escalated into becoming riots, which I'd say is probably at least largely because of the police's response.
Yes, most definitely.
I think pretty much what we've seen throughout this entire thing is that these protests start out peaceful, and then almost all the time the police become aggressive towards the protesters, which just leads to, I guess, chaos and people in turn becoming aggressive back.
And I think the fact that you see it kind of widespread across the U.S. kind of shows that this is a systemic issue, not a localized issue, right? Because it's the same pattern in every city that's protesting. I mean, the city that's 20, 30 miles south of me right now is experiencing the same thing as the cities in the south and the west and the north and etc.
Yes.
And we're considered to be progressive, so
I think definitely, I think a lot of what this situation has kind of, I mean, I don't want to say brought to light, because I feel like it's always been there.
Yeah.
But it kind of I guess for a lot of people exposed them to how militarized and also I guess just authoritarian a lot of police forces are.
Yeah, it's sorry, but it's kind of surprising to me because a few years back when Ferguson happened, the same thing happened. The police in Ferguson were so militarized, and it kind of shocked people, and now it's shocking people again. It's we give the police a lot. We trust them with some very heavy equipment. There are local police stations out there with tanks, and it's the police really should not have that type of power. They don't need it. You don't need a tank to protect and serve, and they have it. They have
there's also been a lot of situations where police just start firing with rubber bullets or paint bullets on just not only innocent protesters, but also camera crews who are just reporting on the situation. There's, I guess, the CNN reporter is probably the most famous, who got arrested for literally no reason outside of just controlling what the media see. But there was, I think, another CNN reporter who got fired upon by just a random police officer.
There's the one that lost her eye due to a rubber bullet, which are
was that a reporter?
Non-lethal, definitely.
I believe they've been described as less than lethal, but not non-lethal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
mistake.
for something to be non-lethal, it can't kill you, right? But these are safe alternatives, of course, right?
Yeah.
You know,
These are
a really
protecting the
safe
protesters, of course. Protecting and serving, as always.
Yes.
The police were also in Minneapolis marching through
The
like
streets and
suburban
just
areas.
firing on
Street-
people in their own property. Like they're literally on their front porch, and the police are. I've seen video where it's like their police are just telling them to get inside, and when they don't, they start firing.
I believe I saw an individual in a New York City apartment with their window closed, looking out the window, had their window broken by a rubber bullet shot through their window. And they have the remains of the, I don't know what you want to call it, munition, just sitting in his house. Took a picture of it.
Oh, like the bullet?
Yeah, I call it a hacky sack, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it.
Oh,
yeah.
They're like, you can call them like pellets. I don't know. They're like bigger than pellets, I guess.
But they're not. I mean, if they can break a window, they can do things to the human body.
No, yeah.
And I think that's well observed.
I haven't been shot with a rubber bullet. I've been shot by like paintballs, and these seem like paintballs, but way harder, and also fired at way faster speeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, police, fun times. Also, we didn't talk about this. I feel like most people know about it, but there have been many situations where police start kneeling with protesters while the press are there, and then as soon as the press leave, they start firing tear gas on the crowds, which is really good. Good job, actually. Just like creating a safe environment, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, like it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I think has become really apparent how just oppressive the police force is if they want to be.
Exactly. And again, I'm going to go back to police accountability because they have all this power and nobody's really keeping this power in check.
Yeah.
And therefore they can just do whatever they want. The reason we're seeing this now is because they have the ability to. They can get away with it, and they are getting away with it, which is it shows again. You know, we're seeing the systemic problems of the racism in the police force, but also the lack of policing the police force, I guess you could say.
I think someone very aptly said on Twitter, the likes, that the police couldn't even stop using police brutality at the police brutality protest. And, I mean, yeah.
That's exactly the situation we're in right now.
It's not... I feel like any protest that gets this large should be seen as a very general outcry for change. But instead, it looks like our government is just seeing them as enemies of the state rather than people for the change in the state and people for the advancement of the state, right?
Yeah, and I know, Joe, you seem to want to have some comments on this with our current president's reaction to the situation.
Right.
So, professional bad opinion haver Donald Trump has made some really bad, disturbing statements where he's threatened to use the military to destroy the protests, I guess. Is that what the words he used? Let me see. He's mentioned that if states refuse to, use, their National Guard or whatever, and police to try and put a stop to the protesters, that he will just step in and send in military to stop them, which is not something you want to have happen, because it's the military, and as I don't know, like, I mean, as little I get, I guess the military is not like, they shouldn't be used as like a force to stop protests, because that's not their job at all. They're not like trained to stop, to like help control a protest. They're trained to like kill people, to be soldiers. And it just like, it comes off very fascist of him to say shit like this, which I fully think he is, but I don't know. To me, it's just, I feel, makes it apparent that, like, or like more clear than ever, that like he absolutely like is fine with being a fascist and destroying anyone who speaks out against him or trying to stop them, and it's very annoying and concerning.
Yeah, we don't. I think we're definitely seeing some of just how little I think he actually cares for the general people of the United States, which it is the people of the United States who elected him to office to, you know, to lead them in a positive direction. And I know for me, I did not vote for him. I didn't even have the ability to vote back in 2016. But it, you know, as a member of this country, it's just not. It's not something I would ever want to see, because it's just, it's. I'm struggling to find the right words, but it's very unfortunate that we have a leader who would respond like this, because in my opinion, it's just completely the wrong response. It's the exact opposite of how he should be responding.
I'm sure you guys are all aware of his exact response to protesters outside the White House over these past couple days.
Yes, his I guess this is tweets about it, which are not a good look, I guess.
I think even beyond that, there was a bit of symbolism, I think, in that in when there's large amounts of public outcry outside of his house, right? What would a leader do? Address it, come to terms with it. But what he did was he went down into the presidential bunker, and they turned off the floodlights on the White House. And I've seen reports that this is usually only done when the president has died. So a lot of people are saying, it's symbolic. He holds the president, he is the president by title, not by, true meaning. He's not our leader, per se. I think there's a lot of symbolism to be found in this whole thing. There's a lot of concrete meaning as well, but I think that it's while this is in indefinite respect of George Floyd and what happened to him was horrible, I think there's a much larger message here, and it's being overlooked by many opposers at this point.
Definitely.
I also want to bring up how Trump kind of got into like a beef with Twitter, I guess.
Because
Twitter, he tweeted out, or Twitter basically removed. They keep it up. They just have a warning in front of it now, because I think it's just like important for people to see. Because Trump tweeted, "These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz, and I told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we'll assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts." And after that, Twitter censored that for being, you know, for
He's literally
glorifying-
threatening to kill United
yes,
States citizens.
He's literally threatening to kill people. Very rightfully was censored by Twitter, and then he got really annoyed at Twitter and tweeted out revoke 230, which is I forget specifically. I think it's an article that basically it's a safe harbor article, which means that if you uploaded copyrighted like material to like YouTube or something, like YouTube's not responsible for that as long as they make an effort to remove it, in like good faith. So they can't just be like hit with like a copyright lawsuit for that, which I think shows off how incompetent he is, because A, that would do nothing to his tweet. Like Twitter can still censor
There's no copyright there, yeah.
yeah, Twitter can still censor your tweet all I want. But like it also just shows how willing he is to like revoke freedoms in order to just to like I guess like feel in control or something. I don't know.
I think
It just comes off
he
like
definitely
having-
wants to feel in control. I also think because it makes him look bad, he wants to put a stop to it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But it, like, I feel like, right, he's scrounging at this point, right, for any support he can get.
Yeah.
But he's been going about it wrong since the beginning of his presidency. If he wants to be on the side of the American people, you can't force them to do that. You have to win them over, and he has done nothing to do that. He has only tried to, strengthen his grip, but never actually consider why he's losing his grip.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even know about that, because I feel like he just surrounds himself with people that say that he's doing well and he's doing good. I don't even know if he truly knows, like, just how people feel about him.
I sometimes, and just sorry, back to your point right there, he thinks that the people who disagree with him are the minority. That's a big problem here. But like as someone, so I will scroll through the related subreddit and his Twitter just to kind of see like what's going on, and like it's just like it's like such a vacuum. There's no room for disagreement there. I can't believe that what he's been like retweeting lately, especially given everything that's going on. It's just absurd how self-loving he is and how little he actually cares about the situations that are going on.
Yeah, definitely. He's also like completely willing to just like support stuff that is like very obviously incorrect.
Oh yeah.
As long as it shows us that he has a tweet where he says that 80% of the protesters in Minneapolis last night were from out of state, which is not true for multiple reasons. I believe the statistic he's getting that from is basically the police saying the people that they had arrested were, or like about 80% of the people they had arrested were from out of state, which firstly does not mean that 80% of the rioters are from out of state, and secondly, it wasn't true. Like straight up wasn't true. It was just like incorrect reporting from the police department or something, which I don't know.
Isn't it funny that he doesn't cry fake news over that stuff though?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody even told him that tweet's wrong yet. Like, I'm sure if somebody brought it up, he wouldn't even understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like inconceivable to him that he could be wrong about something. I don't know. I've obviously never met him, but just from the way he seems to act and respond to a lot of things, it's just he deflects it too. Like, even if somebody told him he was wrong and like he understood that, he wouldn't blame himself. He would blame someone else for it. You know, he's a narcissist and a lot of other things.
There's like one other big thing that I wanted to bring up regarding one of his tweets was him saying that the U.S. would designate Antifa as a terrorist organization.
Oh yeah.
I'm not that familiar with the actions of Antifa. I know what they stand for, obviously, and I know
Kind of
that
the name. So
yeah, and I know that the media regards them or tends to regard them as a radical group, or that's how they're painted more often than not. But even just like calling people against fascism terrorists, like what does that say?
Yeah.
That says something huge.
I don't know, Joe. You said this earlier that you wanted to call him something, but
I've already called.
Oh, you've already called him fascist. I feel like that makes you sound like a fascist. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Brennan, you're a historical scholar. Could you confidently say that this government is erring on the side of fascism?
I mean, certainly, I think his policies tend to align with fascist policies. I mean, we were talking one day, and I gave you the whole rundown of Nazi Germany and what happened there. And yes, there are things happening in this country that certainly can remind ourselves of Nazi Germany, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's absurd. It's disgusting. It just makes me so distraught. To think like, I don't know. It's like so far from like what I thought this country was when I wasn't politically active.
Man, be a kid, so nice. You're like, oh, look at Barack Obama. He speak good. I like him.
You know, it's very, ignorance is bliss. But man, it is like I don't know. Going back to childhood is like, I guess it's interesting to like look back at like your past and realize, wow, I didn't know fucking shit about anything, like the world, and like now, like I think part of it is like it's so I guess with Trump everything has become so heightened, I guess.
It's so much more in your face now too.
Yeah.
I feel.
I guess before, like when Obama was president, even with like Bush, it like felt civil, and now it's just like not. And maybe I'm wrong about that. That's completely possible.
I'm sure a lot of it also depends upon your culture and geographic area within the United States, because I know for us we live in a very liberal area, and there are a lot of people here who are very much not in favor of our current president. So
yeah.
Especially as a college student at that.
Yeah. My friend who was on the show a couple weeks ago, Wesley, he goes to college in the same city where Bernie Sanders is from. So.
Yo.
Cool. Good job, Bernie
Cheers
Sanders.
to that. Yeah.
Good memes from the Sanders campaign, gotta say. Um, does anybody have anything else they want to say? I know we've been on this very heavy topic for a while now, and I kind of want to transition us within the next like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I guess one thing I guess I want to like note sort of is it's interesting how I mean, I get like something that's like happened is like I guess over time the like general view of like or like a just general view of like politicians in the country has like shifted more right. And it's really interesting to see like Trump calling like, or I guess in this tweet he doesn't directly call Joe Biden this, but he says like Joe Biden's people are so radically left, which is like amazing to me. Because like I don't know, Joe Biden is not someone who is left leaning in the slightest.
He's just very much, very close to the center.
To kind of build on that, I've even heard from a lot of European countries' standpoints, Bernie Sanders isn't even that far left.
Yeah,
literally speaking.
Yeah, if we're one of the things with American politics is like the actual left has kind of been like shut out of politics for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because of the Cold War.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of it is the Cold War, but also like, you know, like presidents like Nixon or Reagan who like slowly introduced more right-leaning policies. So for a long time we haven't had candidates that are really like actually left-leaning until the Bernie Sanders, and that he, I guess, to a lot of people compared to what normal, you know, Democrats and Republicans like compared to
but like American
people,
Sanders, he's radical, but
like he's not really very far left at all.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty close to the center.
Good job, American politics. You're fair and balanced.
Wow. Does anyone else have anything to wrap this up with?
We can just like go through a little bit of lessons learned here. One, systemic racism is bad.
Wow.
2, lack of police accountability is bad. 3, militarizing the police is bad. 4, that one guy who looted Legos from Target.
Yo, he's
good.
He knows what he's doing. Oh, I don't know if either of you saw it. There's like a picture of a guy who like, a policeman just like, he's just like standing and he just gets like maced in the face and he does not flinch at all. He just kind of stares them down. I'm guessing he's just like immune to it, but it's really funny.
That's so good. That's such a power move right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers it. I just would really like to see some change. I think this time it feels different. And I think we say that every time, but I don't know the last time that we've seen nationwide protests at this scale.
Yeah,
especially, I want to say, because of coronavirus, I feel like it also hits harder. Because we're all supposed to be, you know, sort of solidarity in our homes, but we're again out there, we're coming together and, you know, in a sense, just risking our lives due to the virus and also due to the great police force. But it certainly, you know, it does hit harder this time. I agree with that.
Yeah. Hopefully, some change will come about, but I mean, I don't know. As much as like I want
count on it, considering.
Yeah, as much as I want to believe that like change will happen, it's like not something that I'm expecting.
We'll see. Anyways. we're gonna transition out of this. We're gonna end this little block with some PSAs, if you could.
Oh boy, some fun PSAs.
Yeah, I couldn't find any of them relating to police violence, so I did the best I could.
Okay. Imagine a family, a mother, father, and 2 kids that were almost fed by neighbors who almost volunteered to help them out. Almost volunteered to give them their first hot meal in weeks. Almost volunteered. But as anyone knows, when it comes to giving, when it comes to giving, almost doesn't count. Don't almost give. Give. Give your time, your money, and your kindness to find out how you can help. Visit don'talmostgive.org. A message brought to you by the Ad Council and your friends here at WUML LOL. It's a very,
Great.
very
Good job.
forceful PSA.
Well, considering Tom, you can give to. There's 4 foundations that have been that I've seen a lot in my newsfeed, at least. There's the Minnesota Freedom Fund. There's the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you guys know the other 2? Hold up.
I've only seen the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
The Minnesota Freedom Fund is definitely the biggest one that I've seen, and I've made a donation there, and I will probably be donating more. But yeah, please, if you have money, I have seen a lot of people like on my Twitter feed giving, which is very heartwarming. But it is, you got the money. Now's the time, because there are some people out there who could really use it, because they'll get killed by the police. Maybe. Anyways, yeah. You go. You got this, Jason.
All right.
Nice follow.
The support of a friend gives dealing with a mental illness a greater chance at recovery. Mental illness. What a difference a friend makes. For more information, go to whatadifference.org. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and your friends here at WUML Lowell.
Yay! Okay.
Yay!
We're done talking about depressing stuff.
Now let's get to the happy stuff.
Yeah, you're listening to 91.5 WUML LOL, and this is Happy Podcast now.
Yes. Bangers,
Cast.
bops, and happy.
Do we just transition hard into Red Hot Chili Peppers? Okay, yeah, the album this week is Blood Sugar Sex Magik by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
With a K at the end. At the end.
They spell magic with a K. You can spell it either way. I'm not going to judge you. It's okay. But this is their 1991 studio album, their 5th studio album, and the one that rocketed them into sort of the spotlight. The previous album, Mother's Milk, reached like number 58 on the Billboard. This album reached number 3 or number 4 or something like that. Like they just kind of got huge after this dropped.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've kind of been like, I guess, kind of a powerhouse rock band since then. There's not really. I guess rock has been, lacking in the past decade. There hasn't been much popular rock music. But I feel like, out of all like the, I guess, somewhat recent bands, Red Hot Chili Peppers has done at least an alright job of staying in the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, even their 2016 album, The Getaway, reached like number 4 on the Billboard.
Yeah.
Which is
pretty I'd say impressive. That's pretty, yeah.
for a band that's 25 years past their their time in the spotlight, that is impressive, yeah.
I'd say that they're firmly in the spotlight, going by Billboard rankings.
I mean, Billboard rankings aren't like the best way to determine popularity, but they're a good guideline. Billboard, the way they calculate things is kind of bad, but it's an outdated system, not meant for the streaming age. But that's another topic for another time.
Yeah, so I guess let's just get into the review. What did you
Okay.
boys think of this album?
So I gotta say, prior to like listening to this album all the way through, I probably only heard probably like the two biggest songs off this album, which are "Under the Bridge" and "Give It Away," which I do like them as songs. However, this album is a wide variety of music and musical styles. Um, it's a ride. It's also long. It's an hour. What, an hour and 14 minutes? Hour and
Yeah,
13 minutes.
yeah.
And which is, it's a lot. There's definitely slack here that I think could definitely be cut off. I want to start with the good, so I won't get into that just yet. I'll start with the good. There are some really great songs here. I'll admit that.
Yes. There's some. It's interesting. It has. There's like a certain sound that reoccurs through certain tracks. I'd say more of the high energy track stuff like I don't know, stuff like the title track "Blood Sugar Sex Magik."
These tracks that have
like.
Keep going. Sorry.
I guess these are the ones that I find the most enjoyable. I think they use like the funk influence in a really enjoyable way. I think this album also comes off as being pretty influential. I feel like I hear it in a lot of later bands. But yeah, I don't know. Do we want to start with like the singles? Because I think the singles
are probably the strongest part of the
singles
album.
on the album, and I'd say the title track are probably the best on the album.
Yeah, because they're the ones that show up. They have these nice like anthemic, catchy choruses, which I think when even in this album and in even later Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, where their songs shine are the ones with nice strong choruses, because they, when they write a catchy hook, it is catchy and it's fun.
They have so like tracks like Blood Sugar Sex Magik have like this really great like power in the choruses.
Yeah, because it's paired with like a really nice riff too.
Yes. I think it also has it does like a great job of like building up throughout it. Like there's like these kind of like spoken vocals during the verse, and then just like goes into the chorus. I actually like the follow-up "Under the Bridge," probably their best known song, I'd say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's by far their most popular.
It's like a really nice, I guess, like calm down almost from the previous track.
I find that's a bit of an odd tonal shift, because "On the Bridge," compared to some of the other songs here, it's quite a bit slower, and it's also the only track where they bring in the sort of the choir vocals on the tail end, which I do like, but you don't see that anywhere else in the album, and it's kind of sticks out.
So you would say it's good as a single, maybe not as much in its placement in the album?
I feel like, yeah, I agree with that, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers songs. They're definitely a singles artist,
Yeah. It always feels like they have like each album has like a solid like handful of songs that are like all like re-listen to these, but then like a lot of the rest of it is just kind of like it's like all right, it's enjoyable, but it's not something I want to go back to.
Definitely.
That was one of my major note of the album was it's listenable, and if it's like put on at a party, I'm not gonna like complain or throw a fit, but I don't think I'm going to willingly search this up again.
Yeah.
At least as a whole, right? Like I might search individual songs, and
Yeah.
listen to those, but
Oh yeah,
I
Blood Sugar Sex Magic, right into the Car Jams playlist.
There's like definitely it kind of. I wouldn't like necessarily say the album has like a tonal problem. It's already kind of like all over the place. I think the opening track, the power of
The Power of
equality,
Equality.
is really weird to open up on
Yeah.
because most of this album is kind of like about like sex and like liberation, I guess, to an extent, and like feeling.
Yeah, it tends to be like a very
free.
indulgent album. There's like lots of sex and drugs and like lust.
I think there's like also I guess this feeling of like freedom that comes up on some of the tracks.
Definitely.
But then the Power of Equality, like I think it's like a decent track, but it just feels, it feels kind of weird to start with like a track about equality, and then like a few tracks later you're like talking about like intense sex.
Suck my kiss. Ugh. I'm sorry. Suck My Kiss is probably one of my least favorite songs off this album.
I actually kind of like Suck My Kiss. It's
Oh.
like like it has a bunch of like cringy lyrics on it
Oh yeah.
that
it does.
I like kind of the energy that it brings to it. It's like very intense compared to a lot of the other tracks, and I think I like that quite a bit about it. There's
Okay, I can see
definitely some less than desirable lyrics like KISSING chicka chicka D and do me like a banshee.
that. Yeah.
I could do without that line.
Yeah, that made it into my notes. I just like was sitting there dumbfounded. It's just I think one of my notes was that it kind of sounds like if a 7th grader picked up a dictionary and wrote slam poetry just to make things rhyme.
Yeah,
like, there's such a lack of meaning in what he's saying. Like, sure, you could think about it, right? But
except for like I don't know, it's like a 7th grader who's also really edgy or like just learned what sex was.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just trying to throw as many innuendos in. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very influential. You can see this come up in later bands such as Blink 182. Not really, but
there's also like some other I don't know. There's definitely several tracks that kind of stand out as having like really weird and bad lyrics. I guess it's technically not the closer, but Sir Psycho Sexy.
it's pretty much the closer.
Yeah.
Sir Psycho Sexy is another one of my least favorite.
I'd say it's probably my least favorite track on the album. It's weird. It has like this like weird guitar on it that sounds like it's straight out of a porno. It's like it's maybe a bit more subtle than in like a porno, but like it's there.
Yeah.
The chorus is also
Hot garbage.
like I don't know what they were thinking
is the word you're looking for.
with it, and it's just like all the verses just feel like weird. Like I don't.
So yeah, Sir Psycho Sexy is like a song trying to be like weird and wacky. Some of their earlier albums, it's very reminiscent of their earlier work, which is also weird and wacky and kind of bad. But it reminds me a lot of Les Claypool tracks, something that he would do. Who was famous a la like Primus, and he has a bunch of side projects. And I don't like Les Claypool's work generally, so
Damn.
it's weird, and it's also like the song is 8 minutes long. It overstays its welcome if there was a welcome for it to have.
Yes, definitely. It's just like I don't know. it's there. I wish it like.
I wish it wasn't there.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's not even that I'm like against like a long Red Hot Chili Peppers track, because I think there's like they have a lot of stuff in their sound that could make that interesting. It's just
Yeah.
the entire track is incredibly repetitive with its chorus and like verse. It just I don't know. It just doesn't work at all.
Agree.
Yeah. I'd say like my other least favorite track is probably Apache Rose Peacock,
Yeah, I also agree with that.
which I guess is like him like walking around New Orleans.
Yes.
And it man, there's some like really bad lines in this track. Like my eyes popped out, my dick got hard, and I dropped my jaw.
Yes.
Such imagery.
I did a double take when he said my dick got hard.
Yeah.
I love how we said we were going to start off with the good stuff, and this album just brought us to our least favorite songs.
Because those are the ones that are like violently in your face.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of The Power of Equality. I agree with everything you guys said. I think the bad songs are overly apparent.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the good songs are just like, they're nice, they're there. They got some fun lyrics, or some fun choruses, some fun riffs and stuff. But the bad songs are, like, very apparent. It's like you had like a nice painting. It was pretty, and like you just like murdered someone right next to it. It's still a nice painting, but there's just kind of like these big blood stains on it in a couple places, you know. You just like look around the blood stains, and it's still nice.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up, is that the famed Rick Rubin helped produce this album.
Indeed, he did.
Oh man.
And he produced the band's like next 10 albums too. Not 10,
Yeah.
but like 5, I think. Yeah, 5.
I found that relatively, I don't know, surprising, I guess. Maybe he just gives artists a lot of creative freedom, but Rick Rubin, I don't know if he like has a consistent grouping of sounds that he produces.
Not really. I mean,
Generally, so the producer's role is like weird a lot of time, because you can work with a very wide variety of artists, and you have to kind of adapt to each one. I mean,
Right.
this album, they definitely changed up their sound. I don't know if Rick Rubin helped with that at all. I haven't looked into the actual recording of the album, but I don't know. I think Rick Rubin certainly made this album sound better. He has a pretty good track record, and I'm sure, you know, his expertise helped here.
Thank God for that.
The boy Rick, good old Ricky boy.
this is the part where I bring out how he also produced Revival.
No, because we all know Eminem would not. Eminem probably had a lot of control over that project.
I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know, the sound of like Revival compared to like his follow-up is like significantly different.
That is
'Cause
true.
Because Dr. Dre did produce Kamikaze, so like I don't know, it feels like Rubin did have a pretty big role.
Maybe, I don't know, but like both Revival and Kamikaze are Eminem trying new and different things.
I mean, Revival wasn't really him trying new things. It was him trying to go back to things that were bad.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, we're kind of off topic.
Anyway, Rick Rubin, he's a cool guy, I guess. Good producer.
Wow.
We can talk about some highlights if you want. I mean, we talked about it's mostly the singles, really.
Yeah, Give It Away is really good.
Yep.
It's got that funky energy. is like it's just like a, I don't know, it's a super like fun, groovy track. I really like the way like the vocals are rhythmically. They have
Yeah,
a very
he's rapping. He's got raps.
he rapping. He raps, dude. I also really like the solo on it because it's a guitar, but it's all played backwards. Recording, which is
notice
really
that.
cool. Yeah, that's why it sounds like really kind of warped and distorted.
Yeah, I thought it was just distortion.
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool.
I do want to say, throughout the entire album, it's not super present, but Flea's bass work is generally pretty good. Occasionally you hear like a little bass lick, and it's like, yeah, that's nice. I do wish perhaps got a little bit more time, but good job, Flea. You're cool.
As
Your name's Flea, so good job there.
As someone who hasn't listened to much Red Hot Chili Peppers at all, I know a couple people who play the bass, and Red Hot Chili Peppers is their favorite band, and I think that he is definitely an influential bassist, and you can hear that a lot on this album. I feel like his bass gets a lot more presence on their songs than any other band that I've heard.
Well,
I feel like this
I
is
mean,
sort of
just like,
All right, controversial statement here, huh?
oh god. Like, I think it's present. I don't know if it's like the most like overpowering thing or anything.
Not overpowering. Not like, I mean, it's not like you can't always pick it out, but I think that it is given a featured role more than once.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know. I think, yeah, he is a very talked about bassist, I believe. So
yeah. I was gonna bring your point into talking about this album's influences, where I feel like this album and its sounds, and definitely the sound of stuff like the bass on this album would go on to influence a wide variety of other bands, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We can talk about that now, I guess. It's kind of tough because it's so broad. Like, this album really ushered in, you know, a lot. There are people that credit him for ushering in the alternative rock explosion of the '90s. Not like the grunge stuff, because that was there before this album, but there's way
there
of
wasn't-
stuff.
that
The
had-
more softer rock, the more emo stuff that
I mean-
perhaps happened later.
I mean, like the grunge hadn't really exploded when the album came out.
Grunge hadn't exploded, but it was there, and there's certainly not grunge on this album. So
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I feel like all rock kind of came out of grunge and like a few other bands at the time that weren't doing grunge. So like Red Hot Chili Peppers, to an extent, I guess Rage Against the Machine. Although this album also feels like it kind of influenced Rage a bit.
definitely with their rap rock style, perhaps.
Oh, I wasn't really thinking about the rap part, I guess. More like the way
The
I guess.
riffs.
Yeah, to an extent.
And just the way, you know, changing a guitar and sounds to make it sound fucking cool. Good job, Tom Morello, on all the Rage Against the Machine stuff, and not on the other stuff you've made.
Because like I feel like there's a couple songs that like mimic to an extent how some Rage Against the Machine songs are like set up. So the title track, for example, has like these calm like choruses and then kind of explodes into the or not calm choruses, calm verses, and then explodes into the chorus, and that comes across a lot in Rage Against the Machine stuff.
Definitely.
It's just like Rage kind of took it to like another level.
Rage angry.
They angry.
They angry. But they good. They real good.
Let's see. I can definitely see how this album influenced alt rock. It just feels like that influence was kind of delayed by
Okay.
grunge.
Yeah, I mean the early '90s were just mostly grunge.
Yes.
You can say this album definitely influenced, but I feel like you can also point to Californication, which came out in '99, which
Yeah.
would probably go on to influence a lot of the 2000s alt rock stuff.
I don't. I feel like
Alright, we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties. I'm very sorry about this, but you'll be okay. We're back. Can you say
We're
like
back?
the last 30 seconds you cut out? I'm very
30
sorry.
seconds.
Yeah.
How much was?
Just when you started rebutting my point.
Okay.
All of it.
I feel like a lot of like 2000s alt rock wasn't like. It doesn't come off as so much influenced by Californication. I mean, I feel like Californication may have had a hand in it, but like most of it comes off as just being influenced by like the post grunge like movement throughout the late 90s,
Okay.
and that evolving into like Nickelback,
Yeah.
Creed, and those bands. Because I don't really think Californication is like a post rock or not a post grunge, but like an alt rock album. I guess it's alt rock, but it still feels wildly distinct from its
I
its
guess. I don't know.
contemporaries.
Like the songs I like off of Californication tend to be the softer rock songs.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I can kind of see. In some of the 2000s bands that I'm having trouble naming right now.
I'm not sure what bands you're talking about.
I'm not sure what bands I'm talking about right now either, but I feel like I don't know.
Just bands.
Just they exist. They're out there. They're bands. Just the bands, the bands.
Yo, is that like the best Radiohead album? The Bends?
No, that would be Pablo Honey.
Oh
Which,
fuck.
Wait, when Pablo Honey came out in '93?
93.
So it was
Yeah.
definitely influenced by Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Definitely. We wouldn't have Creep without Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Damn. That's something that I do not believe whatsoever.
No, that's totally wrong. Way more influenced by grunge than Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wow.
Wow. Any other topics about our Chili Boys?
Chili Boys. I will say that the one thing that I do appreciate about this album, and I guess a lot of even like later Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, is that it does feel like significantly like distinct from many of their contemporaries. There's not like there's not like a group where I'm like, oh, the Red Hot Chili Peppers just sound like this group or like this combination of groups. They do feel like they have a pretty very much their own sound, which I do appreciate.
I agree.
Can I hit you guys with a heavy hitter question right now?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Did you guys like the album?
Overall,
Yeah.
I say I enjoyed it. I think it's a decent album. I don't think it's like incredible, but I think there's generally more good than bad on here.
Right.
So although it does have although it has issues, I definitely enjoy the album. It's not, again, like I said before, it's not something I'm going to ever really go back to. I'm going to listen to the singles off of it. But generally, I think that there's actually quite a bit more good than bad here. And that the good outweighs the bad. Are we at score time?
Score time.
Score time.
Oh boy.
My score, it's like a 7 for me, honestly. Like,
Okay. Personally, I'm like a 6.5 area.
I give it a 5 out of 10.
wow.
Damn.
I mean, I get that. If this album is not your style, then it's very much not your style.
But that comes with a caveat of I did like some songs quite a bit.
Oh yeah. I like some songs off of Humans, but it's still a 5.
I found Under the Bridge to be great. I mean, everyone knows Under the Bridge, right? But
yeah,
it's a really good song.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a reason it's popular.
Yeah.
And I also, I'm sorry, but I really liked the Robert Johnson cover. That was a highlight of the album for me, and it wasn't even their music, so I thought that was fun.
Which is better because they actually on 2 albums previous to this they made a Bob Dylan cover of Subterranean Homesick Blues. It's garbage. I hate
it. They definitely took a long time to get to I guess a place of finding their voice. I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. I invite you to listen to one of the first 4 or 3 or 4 Red Hot Chili Peppers albums because they are unique. They're not good, but they're unique. Because you have a lot of the bad stuff on this album shows up there, the bad songwriting. There's some very bad just ideas, I guess I want to say. But there's also some very interesting energy going on. They're a vibe, I guess. Not my vibe, but they are a vibe.
Couldn't have said it better myself about this album because they're not my vibe.
Wow. Well, are we? Do we have to do PSAs again?
PSAs would be appreciated.
Oh boy. Fun time. Brendan, how come you never read these PSAs when we have a guest? Why do you always force me to do these? Is it because?
Well, fine. I'll read a PSA. Okay, I'll do it. You're forcing my hand here, Joe.
I was just making an observation, and then you completely caved.
I never said I had a strong backbone. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll take this one then. Okay. Y'all ready for this? You get ready.
Oh boy.
You can hear me. Yes, I gotta stretch it real quick. Oh, yeah. All right. You guys listening? You ready?
No.
I'm ready.
I'm not gonna continue unless everybody's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. The Earth has a natural balance of life. Global warming is disrupting that balance. You can help fight global warming if every family replaced 3 frequently used light bulbs with compact fluorescent bulbs. It's like taking 3.5 million cars off the road. Find out how you can help at fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, the Ad Council, and your friends here at WUML LOL.
Nice.
Wow.
There's been a little bit of a retcon to that PSA that isn't in there. Replace the bulbs with LEDs nowadays. LED bulbs are far better than fluorescent bulbs at energy efficiency. So, yeah. I'm sorry, and it's replacing with LEDs is like taking way more than 3.5 million cars off the road. We did the math at one time, and it's like 16 million, something like that.
Wow,
it's a lot of cars.
Anyways, fun stuff. Energy efficiency. Woo.
All right, and well, did you know that car crashes are the #1 cause of teen deaths? And that half of all teens that die in a car crash? Next time you're in a car with a friend who's driving recklessly, speak up. say something, anything. Because there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up. This has been a public service message from the Ad Council and your friends here at WUML Lowell.
Thank you. Beautifully done, like a pro.
Beautiful.
It's almost like you've done it before.
No, never.
Well, never on the show, so there's a first for everything.
Oh man.
And thank you to our guests for coming on our show today, because now as we transition into our next segment, talking about Marvel movies, I know you have extensive knowledge in this field.
Yeah.
And you just wanted to share with us, because you've seen all of these Marvel movies
That's right,
quite recently, as far as I'm aware. And you
I
just
watched them
memorized
today.
them. Wow. All of them today.
Yeah, everyone. Big
That's
fan.
like, that's only like
It was 4 movies, so that's like 8 hours. 9 hours probably, because they're all over. Over.
I guess it's we're only talking about these, yeah.
I watched them at 2 times speed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they move slowly anyways.
They're Marvel movies, like you don't really need the plot, to be honest. You could probably just like watch them and just like it's people beating the shit out of each other, okay?
Yeah, I put them at 2 times speed and played Benny Hill music over the top of it.
Beautiful.
That's a Marvel movie right there.
Man, I'm just thinking. Now I'm just thinking about like the scene in Black Panther where like the villain just like kills someone with a gun, like straight up just shoots them.
Oh yeah.
With Benny Hill music over it.
It's a good sketch.
Wow.
Wow. We should be playing
Alright.
Benny Hill music in the background for the entirety of this show. Especially when we were doing the George Floyd stuff. I think it would have gone over well.
We can agree to disagree on this one, Brendan.
No,
I think I'm gonna have to side with Joe.
we are just disagreeing. Like that is just wrong. I'm not even gonna defend it. Like,
Wait, we can disagree to disagree?
no, we can agree that all of us agree that was just bad. It's just bad. There doesn't even have to be disagreement.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works.
All
When
right,
somebody brings up
cool.
a bad idea.
So Marvel movies.
Alright, we're
Jason,
starting with
you-
Guardians Volume 2.
Yes.
So here you have...
Wait, Jason, how many Marvel movies have you actually seen?
Alright, let me just say. Alright, so I've seen the Sam Raimi Spider-Man series.
Okay, good.
Alright,
I have seen Iron Man when I was 12 or whatever.
Okay,
And
solid.
I did see Infinity War, and that is a fact. And I watched that all the way through.
Wait, but you hadn't seen any of the Marvel movies in between Iron Man and Infinity War?
You know, like when your dad's watching them on TV and you kind of like are getting water and you go in and out of the room?
Yeah.
That's what I've done for like every Marvel movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much... You get it. You get it then.
Punch. Bad guy. Alien,
Yeah.
you know?
big purple man. All right, so you see in Endgame, okay. So Ant-Man shrinks really small and jumps into Thanos' asshole, and then he expands, and then he dies because that would kill him.
Okay, based upon how the Marvel Universe explains how Ant-Man works, I'm not sure, dude.
Ant-Man doesn't make any sense.
Ant-Man
Like,
doesn't make any
don't-
sense.
as
They
soon as you think
shrink the
about it, like,
distance
what?
between molecules, which, like, you can't... That's not how physics works.
Well,
Unless-
no, but like, no, but like more so, even so, like assuming that like works, it makes no sense why, like, for example, in the first Ant-Man, Hank Pym has like a tank on a keychain, and then he just grows it, but like, it just shrinks the molecules, so that tank would be like 10 tons or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
On a
I'm sorry,
keychain.
so Ant-Man, he has the same amount of molecules, but the
distance between them is
distance between-
smaller.
So is he as dense as a black hole? Like, does he have a gravitational pull?
Okay.
Well, it's sort of-
they-
it's sort of explained in the movies because they're like, you have like, um, at one point they're like, oh, you have to be careful with like punches because if you punch someone too hard, you like will kill them because you're basically a bullet at
Interesting.
certain point. But like, it doesn't make any sense because he can like walk on like people's arms and stuff, and they aren't like
Well, he
weighed
can,
down at
yeah,
all.
he can fly on an ant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the same thing
But
as
also, he grows giant in Civil War, which makes no sense
Because then he
it
would essentially just explode. You know.
Well, no, more so than that, he would like not be able to like destroy things or like lift things that are super
Exactly.
heavy. Like,
Because he would have no pressure.
someone would like punch him and he would go like fucking flying.
Don't worry. In the comics, the way they explain Ant-Man is that he has like a pocket dimension where he either sends molecules to or takes molecules away from to matter. And that's how they explain how he grows and shrinks, and is still able to hit things hard.
I mean,
But
like
in the movies,
that's
it just doesn't make sense.
in all fairness, like I don't know, you start like bringing in pocket dimensions for Ant-Man. It's like I don't know. That would be like somewhat over of an. It would be an over explanation for something. It doesn't really need to be explained
I guess,
that well.
but
I can
don't worry,
believe it.
we get to time travel with Ant-Man in Endgame, and I just can't wait for that because that works. They work so well, dude. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but who cares? Like, there's like the amount of time travel movies that like actually make sense if you think about them is like
One. Yep. It's okay.
Because like it's just like a way to like tell a story, you know? Like Terminator. Like Skynet's really fucking stupid. Just send back like a virus.
Dude.
Like an engineered virus, and you just like destroy everything.
Send back coronavirus.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Skynet exists in the future, and they sent back coronavirus.
So that means John Connor exists. And it also means who directed the Terminator movies. Whoever it was, they could see the future.
Cameron.
James Cameron?
James Cameron.
Oh yeah. Cool. James Cameron can see the future.
Absolutely.
That's why Avatar.
Yo, I cannot wait for Avatar 5. I don't know about you guys.
Dude, I'm excited for Avatar 23. You can't imagine.
Yeah. I don't want to go off topic. But there was some news about Avatar 2 regarding James Cameron that I read that was a legitimate story. But that's another topic for another day.
Well, it's fine. We can go into. We're not on topic at all.
No, yeah, like that's this entire segment. So just go for it.
Let me see. Okay. Oh, there was something. Okay, so they film in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
And New Zealand is under a strict lockdown regarding the current health pandemic. They've done very well. But James Cameron and his 55 crew members were given access to the country despite this strict lockdown, which caused a lot of public outcry, apparently.
But they gotta make Avatar 2. Like,
exactly.
New Zealanders, you gotta understand.
Guys, the first Avatar is like one of the highest. It was the highest grossing movie of all time until Endgame came around.
Infinity War. And then Endgame.
No,
Infinity War.
No, Infinity War is like the 5th currently.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it's below The Force Awakens, Titanic, and Avatar. It was the 4th.
Oh.
Now,
okay.
Does anyone even want Avatar 2 at this point, though?
Yeah, no, that's the other thing. Is like they're gonna give Avatar 2. They're gonna give Avatar 2 like a $300 million budget, and it's gonna like make like $10 million.
The osmosis treatment.
Like
I'm literally going to see Avatar 2 every day of my life. I say that because it's never coming out. Literally, like, James Cameron will pass away before Avatar 2 happens.
Damn.
The world does need Avatar 2, though, right now.
It does. Really? Like... We just really need a movie about colonialization right now.
Anyways, back to Marvel movies.
Wow. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right? Was that the one?
Yeah, that's the first one. So you got Chris Pratt, Star Lord boy. He meets his daddy, and his daddy's a baddie, and he gets a little satty. But then Blue Daddy comes and saves Chris Pratt, and Blue Daddy is cool. Yeah, good movie.
Okay, Jason, what would you give this movie on a scale from 1 to 10? Based on Brendan's description.
Sounds like it has a lot of depth.
It's probably actually, like, legitimately, it's probably the Marvel movie that's, like, that's most in depth with its, like, subject matter.
Probably. I don't know. As far as like the concept, the depth of the concept goes, I would say Black Panther is deeper. But like, as far as actually exploring it, Black Panther doesn't explore a lot, unfortunately, and Guardians does. So, yeah.
This movie also has a small tree man in it.
Indeed,
Yes.
it does.
Tiny
Small
Tree
is
Man.
good.
I'd give it a 7, just on that alone.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
everyone knows
that's
baby
fair,
things
honestly.
are the rage right now in media. Baby Yoda, Baby Nut.
You
The list goes on.
man.
Let's stop talking about
Can I
babies.
just say, death to Baby Nut? Kill him. Tear him apart. Destroy him. Okay,
Anyways.
I love the part in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where they went into Photoshop and used the warp tool on the
When they're jumping through, it's so good.
That's actually a really good sequence.
Guardians 2 probably has my favorite scene in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's when Yondu gets his fin back, and he and Rocket escape and blow up the entire ship. And they're listening to Jay and the Americans Come a Little Closer, which, good song, has nothing to do with that scene, but it fits. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, Guardians 2, it is quite a solid movie.
It is a very good movie. You know, out of all the Marvel movies, it definitely deals with its topics the best. The topics of like abuse and like dealing like I guess with family
Yeah,
relationships.
good family values. Also,
yeah.
sort of the whole Yondu and Rocket storyline of how to open yourself up to other people, stuff like that, which goes along with a family storyline. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Hear me out on this. So Kurt Russell is the villain, okay?
Yeah.
So you know how in The Thing, so Kurt Russell is actually in this movie. He's the Thing. That's
Yeah.
what he is. He's just the Thing. He like that. Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm not arguing with you
So-
on that. You're right.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Yes. So the Thing is part of the Marvel universe.
Confirmed.
I don't know where else to go with this. I just wanted to link the Thing with the Marvel universe.
We go into oh my god, what's after Guardians 2?
We go into what?
We're talking about Homecoming?
Are we? I don't know.
Homecoming's like
didn't watch
it's
it
a
much.
Marvel movie. I don't know.
I really like Homecoming. I didn't rewatch it because it's $4 and I'm a cheap bastard.
I watched Homecoming for the first time last week. I was a little unimpressed. You do get to see Tom Holland shirtless though, so there's that.
Damn.
Okay, Thor Ragnarok.
Thor
Good
Ragnarok.
movie.
Oh, Thor Ragnarok's so good. Thor Ragnarok is probably the funniest Marvel movie.
Yeah, definitely, and it's entirely due to Taika Waititi.
Yes. the humor in Thor Ragnarok is amazing. It's I don't know. I kind of like this. Thor Ragnarok is like it's like competing for my favorite MCU movie just because of how funny it is, and
That's
like it
fair.
lacks a good like. I mean, the villain Hela isn't like awful.
Oh wait, hear me on this, because I've been thinking about this for a week now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so Hela, her whole thing is that she wants to use the Bifrost to invade other planets, but
Yeah.
she has the Tesseract, and she knows what the Tesseract is, and she seems to be way powerful enough to use it, considering Loki can use it, and Hela is way more powerful than Loki. So, what's up with that, man? Why doesn't she just use the Tesseract and literally kill everybody?
I don't know, man.
Anyways, Hela's dumb because she doesn't use the Tesseract.
She's like alright as a villain.
She's fine. I like her introduction, but a lot of what happens after that is not.
It's kind of like
yeah, it's like yeah, you want to be.
I wanna-
murdered. Okay, good for you.
I do wish like a lot more time was spent with just Thor on the planet.
Easily the
because that
best time
shit
is when he's on Sakaar. That's the best
think-
part of the movie.
For me, absolutely the best sequence is like when Banner like just turns back into Bruce Banner from being the Hulk, and then is just like completely freaked out by being on an alien world.
Yeah.
Okay, also, wait a minute. We have to talk about Banner's pants, okay? Because this is like a joke in the movie that so he has to wear Tony Stark's pants because he's on an alien world.
And Tony Stark's pants are too tight for
They're
Banner.
too tight. It's hilarious.
Banner's just
But
packing heat, dude.
Then later on, you see he turns back into the Hulk.
And he keeps the pants.
He's still wearing the pants, so they couldn't have been really tight. What is this movie?
No, Tony Stark makes his pants out of rubber.
I want to see Hulk dick, okay?
So you're saying that it was, you're saying it was better than Thor: The Dark World?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, no, hear me out on this though, because Thor: The Dark World.
So you see, Thor: The Dark World, they think with portals.
They really do. And they have a really good intro that introduces the villain in a very cool way and very original.
Yes.
Really engaging for the viewer as well. And then
what was the main villain's name?
Nothing happens until like 2/3 of the way into the movie.
Brendan, what was the main villain's name?
Malekith?
Damn, you're better than me.
I don't know.
I didn't even like remember it. It's like, man. I love also we should mention Thor Ragnarok. Thor is like significantly different as a character and it's so much better.
Well, you see, because he got a haircut and he's hotter now.
It's also directed by Taika Waititi.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah, they changed it around so much how Thor acts, and it's so nice.
Thor goes from like, I don't know, like hot-headed warrior, strong guy, to like, just like hilarious, like, I don't know. He's just like, I don't know how to describe the change very well, but he's just like way more funny and lighthearted, and he doesn't care.
Oh yeah.
Which
he's
is
much more go with the flow, you know.
Yeah.
Does that come off as like abrasive in the whole span of
No,
the Marvel?
it's a welcome change.
Yes.
Yeah, but like I okay. So what I know about the Marvel movies, I'm pretty sure he was with the Guardians of the Galaxy at one point.
That's later.
In Infinity War, he is. That's after this movie. Yeah.
Okay, but I do want to say that I never got that like lighthearted nature.
He's
It's
a
not
lot
there.
more serious. in
Yeah, it's kind of
War,
weird.
but it doesn't come off like, I guess, jarring. Infinity War overall is like probably the most serious out of all the Marvel movies. but like I don't know, it never like comes off jarring or like odd because he still acts the same way. He's just not like jokey, I guess. I know
I know, and even
he is
then,
still
when
like
he's with
somewhat jokey. When he's with the Guardians,
the Guardians are,
yeah.
tend to be more lighthearted anyways. So
Yeah.
I think it works.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak with much authority on it, but I know Taika Waititi's style of directing and what he brings out of his characters. And it's interesting how much praise this movie got, and that did he direct any more after this?
He has not.
There
yet.
hasn't. He's doing the next Thor movie.
He is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
do you have anything more you want to say about Thor Ragnarok? Or it ends with them seeing Thanos and they fucking die.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Korg. Korg is amazing.
Korg's great.
Korg is like the best character in the MCU, actually.
Because it's Taika Waititi.
It's just Taika Waititi as like a giant rock guy, and it's hilarious.
Is that mocap Taika Waititi or is it someone else and he's just is doing?
I assume it would be mocap.
Okay.
Him mocapped. I don't know. He has like. I feel like Korg has very specific mannerisms that are like very much Taika Waititi.
That makes sense. That's really funny.
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Okay. Black Panther's interesting.
It's like a decent movie. It has. Ooh, I don't know. It has some problems with the plot where it feels like it takes too long to get started. I guess. Like the main conflict of the movie feels like it kind of starts halfway through.
Well, the thing is, because the first part you're getting introduced to Claw, and I like Claw, but then the big bad is Killmonger, and you don't really even get to understand who he really is until halfway through. Which is unfortunate because Killmonger is probably one of the more interesting villains in the entire MCU.
Yes, he definitely. Out of all the villains, it feels like he like has a point.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like I'm evil, which like I don't know, that kind of works for some Marvel movies, but like in this movie, his point like actually feels valid.
I mean, it's very valid.
And he's definitely after you get through the halfway point, he's definitely like he's given a lot more backstory, and it's a lot. Or it works, but I just feel like if there was even more time spent with him specifically, it would have made her a much more captivating villain.
Yeah, I definitely like because his whole reason, his whole motivation is that he's seen sort of the injustice in the world against black people. I mean, and the minorities and stuff like that, and he wants to prevent that. And we don't really, as the viewer, you don't get to see that, which I think it would have been a very powerful thing to show had Marvel shown that. But they didn't because I don't know.
Oh, specifically like the injustice.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
See him growing up, and stuff like that, rather than just being like, yeah, he's here now and he's mad.
Definitely, yeah. There's like, I guess the reason he's not like really present until halfway through is because it's like a fake out where Claw is kind of built up to be the main villain, and then it's like, nah, he just gets killed off halfway through.
Yeah.
By Killmonger. Which, I don't know. I feel like they could have maybe gotten everything going faster, so you could still sort of have the fake out, but it wouldn't be like the midpoint of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas like before, or whereas like they could have had it as like the end of Act 1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the movie sort of could have been like rearranged differently, and like you could have gotten a lot more out of Killmonger, which would have been nice. But I also feel like there's a lot of time spent on T'Challa being kind of mopey, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know
not
about
really,
that.
but there's a lot of the movie is spent on him trying to decide what he wants to do as king, which I don't know, it doesn't feel impactful really in the least. I don't know what you think about
I
that.
mean, I don't know about that. I guess. I don't know if. I mean, like, sort of. Not really. Not that he like doesn't know what he wants to do as king, but like he's just. You're not really like given time to see his decisions. More of the movie I'd say is given to him like just becoming king,
Yeah.
or is like devoted to like that rather than like him not being sure what he wants to do. I guess.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like there's a lot of time where he's presented like when Everett is interviewing Claw, and Claw's like, these guys, they got the vibranium, and he's like, oh man, so I tell him about the vibranium? Nah, man, we don't have vibranium here, nothing to see, stuff like that, and in the end, it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Wow.
Panther, I mean, it's still good. It's still good.
Still enjoyable movie. Yes.
It's there's the one fight scene in Korea. I like that fight scene and the car chase.
Car chase.
Other fight scenes, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Jason, what do you think of Black Panther now that you've heard
So,
us about it?
I'm remembering that I have seen Black Panther.
Oh my god. Let's hear it. We gotta hear the rundown, man.
So, all right. Think about when did this movie come out? What year?
2018.
2018, yeah.
2018. Okay, so I saw that movie in 2018.
Fresh in your mind.
Okay, so when you guys are talking about it, I remembered a lot of things. I agree with your liking of the Korea fight scene, and that whole sequence. I thought it was well done. I don't remember like the the intricate details of everything, but I think I remember liking it. So yeah, good movie.
Well, that's a glowing recommendation if I've ever heard one.
11 out of 10. It was up for Best Picture, so I think that says something in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Yo, if Black Panther
definitely.
won Best Picture, it would be the biggest fucking meme.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
But
yeah, that's fair.
In all honesty, I think it was an important movie still and a cultural phenomenon, and it should be appreciated as that.
That's fair. I will say one thing. There's this one scene where T'Challa walks into Shuri's lab and he's wearing sandals, and Shuri
she
points
says,
out,
what are those?
what are those?
Oh, man.
And it's probably the worst part of the movie. The single worst 2 seconds I have had experience in the past week.
I don't, cause it was outdated when they made that joke.
Oh yeah.
Even you could have gone back. I assume they filmed it the year before, or wrote it the year before or something. It's still really outdated. Then.
Ooh, I think that's a great lesson actually, that you shouldn't include things like that in your movies.
Yeah, but
it makes them lose that lasting. I mean, it's not like the entire movie is affected by it, but it really makes you recoil and cringe.
Exactly. It will happen again in Endgame because there's 2 moments in that movie where they meme it up.
Wait, when do they do that?
In Endgame?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we get to Endgame. Because if you don't remember, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Because I remember it distinctly.
Damn. I think the things I remember most about Endgame are I mean, I guess there's like the ending, but like also people clapping and me being really annoyed that people were clapping in the theater.
That's fair. In the theater for when I saw it with Endgame, there's the one scene where they said that Captain America's ass is it's America's ass, and there's this one woman in the theater. It's just like, yeah, it is. You don't even get to see Chris Evans shirtless in that movie, dude.
Damn.
Do you see any shirtless men like besides Hulk? He doesn't really count because he's
Is he shirtless in the movie?
Hulk.
I don't think he's shirtless. Because it's Banner Hulk.
I think he definitely is shirtless at some point.
Has Thanos ever been shirtless in the MCU?
No, he's always wearing armor.
Yes. Damn.
What a wimp.
There's gotta be. I think there's been at least one shirtless man in every Marvel movie so far.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when we get to Captain Marvel. Do we get to see a shirtless woman? Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wow.
Wow. And that's going to be bringing us to the end of our show, actually. It's 11:59 p.m.
Oh boy.
So, we had a very special show tonight with a very special guest. And I mean special.
Yeah.
I'm very... What does that imply, Brendan?
He's special, Joe. He's here because he's a special guest. He's Jason. He is a boy, I think. And
Yes.
he's special. He's here. Because you're with us. Especially us.
Alright.
I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a bad bit to begin with, and I just kept going with it.
Oh, hey. It's album of the week for next week is going to be Teen Dream by Beach House. Some cool dream pop. And we'll also talk about the rest of the MCU movies, except probably Hulk, because
Okay, bye!